Sorry, Grandma's just passed away today. Lol. Short King, I've recently learnt this phrase.
You have. It just makes me think of shortening.
What shortening? Like the stuff that you make cookies with?
Yeah. You're
Okay.
a cookie ingredient. There's nothing wrong with working in any capacity at a restaurant, and I have met many a hot waiter.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. You get hungry for the food and you thirst for the... No, I'm kidding.
This is the kind of one where I want to sit down with both of them and have a conversation and be like, okay, what's the real tea?
Sit down, get comfy, let's get involved.
Yeah.
I am
Of, like-
shooketh right now. This is
But,
like the
like,
biggest time
would
we've
I-
ever disagreed.
You're through to 1-800-DRAMA,
The show where you share your biggest dilemmas.
and we help you navigate them.
I'm Shaaba.
And I'm Jamie,
Come join us as we help people figure out if they are the drama.
because sometimes you just need an outside perspective.
And we can all expand our own mindsets along the way.
Wait, am I the drama? Red flag, green flag, Shaaba.
Hit me.
Leaving people on red.
Okay, I'm going to sound really embarrassing right now.
No.
I think I know what it means.
No.
Could you kindly explain what it means when you leave someone on red? From my understanding, is this when someone sends you a text, right?
Yeah.
And you open it up and you've got your read receipts on, so
Right.
people know
Yeah, it
that you
says
have seen it,
Yeah.
but then you don't respond.
Yeah, so you do know what it is.
Okay.
I was worried for a second there that I'd married a boomer, but no, we're okay.
Hey, it's okay to not know things. When you are
is.
exposed to things, if you then choose to act wrongly on that information, that is when I'll call you an idiot. But I'll never call someone an idiot for not knowing something.
I feel like not knowing what being left on red means. In my brain, that's equivalent to not knowing what LOL stands for.
Right.
That's
right.
why I went like boomer, because my boomer mother used to think it was lots of love. So
Sorry, Grandma's just passed away today. Lol.
that is not a message she sent.
Is it when somebody intentionally does this? Because me, spicy ADHD brain Shaaba, sometimes does this.
I think just generally leaving people on red.
That's why I turn my read receipts off.
Do you know, I'm gonna solidly beige flag it, and I'm beige flagging myself. Or is it orange? I think beige is when it's something boring. I'm gonna orange flag it.
Okay.
And that means me as well. I am notoriously awful at being like, oh, I have read a message. I will reply in 2 minutes when my brain feels ready 2 weeks later.
Okay, I'm gonna red flag it then. I think I am. Because I know that my stupid brain can sometimes do this.
Your brain is not stupid.
Go ahead, Snowball. I will actively make sure that I put it back, and I actually, like, the top of my to-do list, the first 3 or 4 points
Reply
is often
to
respond to
Blair.
blah, blah, blah.
Red pie to blue.
And if it doesn't have that big notification on, like, messages or WhatsApp that tells me, like, that green circle to be like, you have a new message, then I will just leave it. But I hate being on the other side of that. That's
won't-
the red flag.
I don't do it for things that are important.
No, but if you're intentionally doing that, I'm big red flagging you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I will leave someone on red if I don't like them. And I'm just like, bleh.
But then you wouldn't be speaking with them.
Yeah, but if they message me out the blue, I'm like, bleh. But if it's somebody that I'm like really good friends with, I might read it thinking I'm going to reply. And then if it's a bit of a longer message, I'm like, oh my God. But you know, they're making it unread again. You are still leaving them on red. You've just made it a notification again in your inbox.
No,
but
no,
it's
no.
for them, you're
No,
still
no, no.
leaving them on red.
Don't unlock a new anxiety for me. That's not the case, is it? No, it's not. No, because when you don't have read receipts on, they can't
Okay,
tell.
you don't have read receipts, I'm
That's
sure.
what I'm saying, and that's why I do it specifically, not to stress people out that way.
Okay.
It's not because I'm
But
trying to be like an elusive Batman with my phone.
technically, from your standpoint, you do it.
But that's why I was asking for the definition. Look, for the intentional people that leave their loved ones on red on purpose, red flag.
I think it averages out as an orange, so I'm just going to orange flag the whole concept.
I think you orange flag way too many red flag, green flags.
No, I
You're
don't.
such a cop-out when it
No,
comes
I
to
don't.
this segment of the
Fine.
podcast.
I'm going to green flag this one. Ooh, no,
I'm
I'm
gonna
not.
smother you in ketchup and stick you on a pole because that's red flag behaviour.
Gross.
Before we start today's episode, I just want to say for anybody listening anywhere, it would mean a huge deal to us if you wouldn't mind supporting this podcast on the listening platforms. That is right, we are talking to you peaches, you spuds, who are listening on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on Google Podcasts, all of those lovely little places. If you haven't already supported the podcast there but love what we're doing, perhaps like or are mildly interested, you know, like the green chili in Nando's-esque of what we're doing, then maybe you want to consider giving us a little rating and following the podcast there, because we're really trying to get our listener numbers up and we'd so appreciate your help with that.
Woo.
That's Jamie's contribution to this. Woo.
Woohoo.
So, on that note, Jamie, are you ready to go fishing for
Drama.
assholes? Let's go. Ooh, drama.
Am I the drama, Shaaba?
Yes.
For telling my friend that most women would not marry him and mocking his minimum wage job? oh, that just sounds like bullying.
That does, right? That sounds really sad.
Why are you mocking your friend's job and saying no one would marry him? Oh,
should we find out?
Yeah.
I am a short guy,
Short
says
king.
OP. Short king. I've recently learnt this phrase.
You have.
Short
Boomer.
king. I'm not sure if I like the term short king. It's a way to reclaim being a short man. It's okay to be a short man.
It is.
When I think of short king, that actually has a negative connotation for me because it makes me think of like actual who's that guy from Game of Joffrey? Joffrey was a short king in my mind. Do you know what I mean?
Sure. It just makes me think of shortening.
What shortening? Like the stuff that you make cookies with?
Yeah. You're
Okay.
a cookie ingredient.
Anyway, I'm a short guy, says OP, around 5'4" to 5'5" and in my 30s. My friend Ian is around 6'1". Okay, so there are height differences.
Oh, those 6'1" buttholes.
I'd met him sometime back at an event, and although he's really good looking, he works as a waiter at a restaurant. Excuse me? This guy's rubbing me up the wrong way. Although he's really good looking, he works as a waiter. What's wrong with working as a waiter?
There's nothing wrong with working in any capacity at a restaurant, and I have met many a hot waiter.
Oh, yeah. You get hungry for the food and you thirst for the... No, I'm kidding. But respect the staff, always. On the other hand, says OP, I make quite a lot, to put it mildly. Okay, you are the drummer.
Okay.
That is my badge.
Yeah.
I'm just calling it now.
Do you know what this feels like? You know when people buy sports cars and they're like, well, that's small dick energy. That's the vibe I'm getting.
Small dick energy. That is what
Yeah.
short king gives me the connotations of. That's what I was trying to say. Like, I
No,
think when
you
you're
can be a
trying to
short
call
king with a big
yourself,
dick.
when you're trying to call yourself a king, it makes me feel of like a sense of arrogance that you're trying to make up for the fact that you're short.
The short guys don't call themselves the short king. It's an endearing term towards them.
Ah, well then that's fine. Okay.
It's kind of like oh, how tall are you? 5'5". Oh, short king. And like, yeah, I'm a short king.
Okay, that's fine then. It's a way to be like, I'm not using your height against you. Fine. But this, small dick energy,
That's what's coming across from OP.
that is why OP is
Yeah.
just always going to be the
put
drama
it
to me.
mildly.
But we'll carry on. Ian has a girlfriend, Julia. So 6'1" guy. Yeah, okay. We were hanging out at his place yesterday along with some of his other friends. I am a teetotaler and absolutely loathe alcohol. Fine. But the others were getting drunk and began to make jokes in bunnies. Jokes.
Right.
One of the jokes was about how short I was and that I'm still single. Okay, well that's not very kind.
No.
You're still a dick, but you don't deserve that.
Yeah,
That's not very
it's
kind.
not nice to press on people's insecurities, if that were an insecurity of OP, which I'm feeling like potentially it is, as this post has been made.
Ian says, dude, I'm not surprised that you're still single. You're really short and most women would pass on you immediately.
Oh,
That is so sad. The others laughed, including Julia. That is really sad.
that is mean.
You are coming across as a very mean person. So I'm not going to lie, like part of me is just like, perhaps you have rubbed people up the wrong way and therefore are encouraging people to not be as kind to you at the same time. That's never really acceptable, is it? Call someone out for being a dick, but not for the things that isn't inherently dicky about them, like their height.
I think he's coming across as a really mean person. I think he's coming across as someone with a lot of insecurities.
Who? OP.
OP.
OP's coming across as arrogant
Yes.
and rude.
But I wouldn't say really mean, personally. I think I want to read on and see where it goes.
Fair.
But I don't think there's enough information for me to judge as really mean.
The reason that I have come to that conclusion is you are speaking down at somebody because they work as a waiter, and you think the fact that you making money, and you said quite a lot to put it mildly, like saying it in such a demeaning way, that's just mean behaviour to me.
Sure, I completely get your perspective.
OP has lost my trust.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you'll need to work to get it
I
back.
can see that.
Trying to keep an open mind, but not being able to because small dick energy. Let's carry on. I was momentarily startled, says OP, but then snapped and said, at least I don't struggle to make ends meet and work a minimum wage job. I added, most women won't consider you marriage material, by the way. I feel like OP could have said a lot worse.
Yes. Okay, I'm formulating a lot of ideas.
Ian got extremely mad and began to argue with me, and so did the others. We had a huge verbal sparring, and I asked them to F off, and in the end, left the place. So am I the drama?
Right. Okay, I feel like for quite a short Am I the Drama post, there's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah.
And I think that both guys, OP and Ian, pushed heavily on the others' potentially
Insecurities.
main insecurities.
Exactly that.
And I think I'm ready for a badge.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Everybody sucks here. I
Yeah.
agree. But who sucks more? This is not part of the job, but I'm adding it to your list of to-dos. If you had to choose, do they suck equally or does one suck more than the other?
It's tricky because ever since we've heard what Ian said to OP...
I'm not surprised that you're single, you're really short and most women pass on you.
Yeah, that one. I'm not surprised at OP's attitudes in the first two sentences. And when I say not surprised, I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying I feel like this has been written still with this very fresh anger. So like, I make quite a lot, to put it mildly. Although he's good looking, he works as a waiter at a restaurant. I feel like he's doing things not to show off himself, but to put Ian down further because of how Ian's hurt him.
I hear you, but at the same time...
It doesn't excuse...
Yeah. How old are you?
In 30s.
So you're adult enough to be able to know that you're coming to a forum to ask for advice. You shouldn't really be doing that with a hot head. And even if you are, like, to set the context, what I would expect to be hearing is he's very good looking and he works as a waiter at a restaurant.
Yes.
The fact that you're saying, although he's really good looking, he works as a waiter in a restaurant, like, part of me is just like, Shaaba, why are you splitting hairs so much? The other part of me says, this is a huge insight into how you really feel. And you talk down to people who do not have money. And that is a big bugbear for me. I've just talked myself into understanding where I am with this post. It's a big bugbear for me when people take the piss or try to rip into other people for things that are not within their control. There are so many more interesting things to do with a person than the financial position that they happen to find themselves in lives.
Or their height.
Or their height. Exactly. Both.
Yeah, so that's why everyone sucks here, because they've both done that.
Yeah, and you're right. I really do think this is like, you've pissed me off, so I'm pressing on you, and someone else is pressing on the other one back. I will ask, what do you think about the fact that one is drunk and the other is not? I don't think that, like, drinking is an excusable reason to be an asshole.
No, not at all.
But at the same time, if Ian was to come back and apologise and be like, I'm so sorry, I was, not in the right state of mind and I shouldn't have said what I said, I can see how that could be used as an excuse. It's still not good. What I'm saying is OP can't say the same back. That came from OP.
Some people might disagree, but I'm not even factoring it in. I'm like, if you are the type of person who says shit that you really regret when you're drunk, then maybe you should not drink as much. If you have to apologise to people after you go out drinking because you say stuff that you shouldn't, you take jokes too far, then that's a you problem, and you can't blame it on the alcohol because you should. I'm not talking about people who have a problem with alcohol here. I'm just talking about people who go out and get drunk and party.
It's a really interesting point. I totally hear what you're saying, and I agree with you if that's an isolated incident. I guess for me, what I was thinking was, when OP says the others were getting drunk and began to make jokes, it might be that they were all just being hella shady to each other. I can imagine with our, like, really close group of friends, in a party situation, there are some things that if outsiders were to listen to, they'd be like, oh, are you sure they're a friend? But the reality is, we all get along really, really well, and it's just part of teasing. I mean, to say that, most people will pass on you immediately isn't a hugely friendly thing to say. But do you see what I'm saying? Like, I think it's difficult when we don't have the context of what the other jokes are as well, and how other people were also being ripped into / about.
I hear what you're saying, because I know amongst our friendship groups there are guys who are shorter, but like, I only would ever joke about that with them if they are joking first about it.
We do have a friend who's on the shorter side and who does joke.
Yeah, and we also joke, and I think if you took some of the things we've said in the past as an isolated sentence, then he could probably make it sound like we've said something quite bad about his height. Absolutely. But in the moment, he was joking along. Based on the information we've been given, OP wasn't joking along.
But that's what I'm saying, it's based on the information that we're giving, which I don't think...
Which is from OP's perspective.
It's an incredibly biased perspective.
Yeah.
Where OP is understandably still hurt, but coming across in a really negative way. I need more information. So what was the conversation beforehand? Were you giving out, and was this a joke back that just hit a nerve? Or were you not involved in the jokes? Do you see what I mean? Like, were the jokes to other people equally as quote-unquote shady, but within a safe space environment where people knew that you were being friends?
Maybe, but
that's the point that I'm trying to make about the alcohol.
I'm trying to decide in my head why my gut reaction is that what
you don't
OP...
like Ian.
No, what OP has said feels worse than what Ian said, and I don't know why my brain thinks that, because I don't think it's okay to mock people's insecurities regardless of what they are. And maybe this is a bias in my own head, that it's so normalised that short guys are teased about their height a lot, and it is like a thing that, like, oh, if you're like a straight short guy, women are going to pass on you because of your height. Unfortunately, there is truth in that. I would definitely not go and say most women would pass on you immediately, but there are a group of like straight women who wouldn't date a guy who was shorter than them. I think I just put my finger on why OP's comment feels more hurtful. Sure. I think it's because Ian, although pressing on an insecurity and a joke that was in very poor taste, the intention behind it sounds like it was a joke, like that being playful. And maybe, I could imagine the Toad being like, dude, dude, I'm not surprised you're still single. Like a kind of positive, jovial thing. Whereas I feel like what OP was saying was said deliberately
to cause
hurt and put Ian down.
But you see, this is what I'm saying about the whole like alcohol versus not thing. Like OP is clearly saying this because he's triggered and he's trying to cause hurt, whereas Ian, within the context of this jokey environment, is just saying something because they've had a few and they're having a good old shady time.
I personally don't think that excuses it at all. Like, I'm not on board with that being an excuse.
I think you in particular are very triggered with alcohol, and I understand. But within this scenario, I do feel like I'm maybe a little bit more forgiving towards Ian.
I think I'm more forgiving towards Ian than I am towards OP. I'm just not quite as forgiving as you are.
Sure.
I think Ian definitely went after something he probably knew was an insecurity. However, a non-arsehole response would be, that was hurtful.
Like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah,
that was
like,
too far.
That wasn't a funny joke.
Exactly.
Don't rip
That's what I'm
into
saying.
something I'm insecure about.
We need the context of the ones before.
Yeah.
Because maybe they were all being similarly as shady.
Yeah. I still think everyone sucks here, but I would probably say OP a little bit more.
And maybe there would have been a way for OP within that still joking way to have made a joke about money and for that to have come across in a way that everyone still would have laughed. Do you see what I mean? Like where you were all like making jabs at people. Why do we do that? Why are we so like sadist within our friendship groups?
Yeah, I think it's funny to joke around sometimes as long as everybody's on board.
I think that's the point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jokes are funny when everybody's laughing. If at some point someone is not laughing, you have gone too far. And it sounds like that happened and then OP took it further.
Yes, I would agree. And I think it's that at least I don't struggle to make ends meet. It feels very personal. It feels a lot more like specific to Ian as a person and his ability and position in life, whereas Ian's comment to OP felt more like this generic, like going too far, not funny joke about short men. It's a very generic joke.
Mm-hmm. And there's other ways to put that down, like, hey, maybe don't be so mean. Why do you need to be bigoted about that when height isn't something that you can change?
Yeah.
Obviously, you didn't need to say it that way, but there's a way that you could have pulled it up in...
Well, my response would have been like, what's wrong with short kings, bitch? I'm really interested to hear what people say.
Let's see. Not the drama.
Okay, drunk or not, he started it, so he definitely deserves such a reply. Alcohol brings out what's hidden within you, so Ian definitely meant what he said about you. It sounds like you both shouldn't hang out with each other, as it seems your friends are manipulative and hypocritical. It will only get more toxic for you in the long run. That feels like a stretch. That was such a short post. I don't think we were given enough information to make that kind of judgment on people.
I agree with certain aspects of this, like small nuggets of this make sense to me, but again, I feel like nobody else, and I don't even think that you are fully understanding what I mean about like, I need to know the context of this.
No, I get it. You need to know if everybody was like,
maybe they were all just being hella shady. Like Ian's comment right there, it sounds like OP has not said what led to that being a comment. That sounds like a response to something. Whether
Yes,
that's
it
something
does.
have been OP saying, what was it that he said specifically? Dude, I'm not surprised you're still single. Like, just put it this way. What if OP was saying, no woman is ever good for me. That is why I'm single.
yeah, but
And then Ian's gone, dude, I'm not surprised that you're single. Most women will pass on this small dick energy. Do you see what I mean? In a jabby, safe space environment where people are being shady.
yeah. Or, I can't believe I'm still single. Look at how much money I make.
Right.
We are creating a scenario though, and I like to judge them just based on the
Of
information
course, but
we
that's
get.
what I'm saying. And I'm not saying that is what has happened.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that is one option in which it would make sense why Ian would say that within a joking environment.
Or OP could have said, I've been rejected so much because of my height and it's really getting me down. And then it changes the context in the other way of what
Absolutely.
Ian says.
Though people are beginning to make jokes. That doesn't sound like you're having a cute little therapy session where you're being vulnerable about why you're not in a relationship.
Yeah, it could have been that OP said a joke about somebody like Ian's girlfriend or something that then annoyed Ian. Like,
Possibly.
I don't think we can fully say from this.
No, but my
who
gut is
started
telling
it.
me from what is being said and the views that OP is having just from writing that OP is not as innocent from the offset as it may seem.
I think there's one step before what
That
Ian
we
said
need more information on.
that would help a lot.
Which is why I disagree with this commenter of being like, oh, it's toxic, they're horrible, you deserve better, Ian deserved that comment, get out.
Yeah, because what OP said was not nice, and then although he's really good looking bit is just
That's really bad.
Yeah.
But although that, he works as a waiter. Who are you to make such a judgment? So rude. It's because you're all jealous of his looks.
Yeah.
And his height, let's be honest.
And the fact he has a girlfriend.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah, maybe it's coming from a place of like, well, how do you have a girlfriend? Fine, you're good looking and you're tall, but you don't make any money, and look at me, I'm rich. That's the vibe.
If you are literally just like resorting to your money as why you are better than people, you are clearly not a nice person, right?
Yeah.
Is my view.
Yeah.
Anyway, what do other people say?
Obviously, you're an arsehole. But beyond that, your insult kind of rings hollow when you're single and he's not. Really bad look, lol. Everyone sucks here.
Okay, this feels too harsh.
I didn't even think of the context of the fact that OP said, well, you're not marriage material either when Ian is in a relationship. Not married, but Ian's not single.
Yeah, though I think OP did say something along the lines of most people wouldn't consider you marriage material anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
Because of the finance thing. This comment feels like what I wanted to say before I realised that the reason that we do these podcasts is because I'm very interested in trying to understand things from everybody's point of view.
Yeah. Wow.
But I do agree with the badge.
Yeah, I do think everyone sucks here, and OP is definitely being a butthole in some way, but Ian is not innocent.
I think you've therefore answered the question, which we digressed from a long time ago at the beginning, which is I think OP sucks a little bit more.
Yeah.
Personally.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go with that. Reeks of jealousy.
Reeks of jealousy.
It does.
It does a little.
Yeah.
It does. Absolutely. Towards Julia, towards the height, and towards the looks.
Yeah.
Everybody sucks here.
Your friend for commenting on your height and you for doing the same on their financial situation. Bear in mind that you probably won't get any taller, but they could get into a better financial situation at some point in the future.
What?
Yeah, I think with something like financial position, if that's your one source of like self-esteem in life, it's a very, very tricky one. Like, I mean, I think looks are as well because they fade with life. I think it's good
They're also
to have
just
like...
so subjective.
Yeah, and to have multiple points, but it definitely feels like OP feels like Ian has everything but money and OP only has money. That is something that could one day flip. I would worry for OP being in that position. I think he needs to find more things in his life that bring him self-esteem that aren't just money.
Well, I think the other thing to maybe mention that is like a bit of an elephant in the room here is that not everybody has the same life goals. I think OP is trying to convince Ian definitely and possibly themselves that having money is a really great thing and an important thing, whereas that's not the most important thing to some people.
You're
Clearly,
very right.
to OP, he also wants stability in a loving relationship.
Yeah.
Right? And he also seems to value looks in some way. It might be that Ian's super happy with his life as waiting staff because he's got everything else and money isn't that important to him, which is also totally fine. At the end of the day, for both of you, don't be lauding things over other people.
Yeah.
We're all on different life paths.
What is that like? Pride comes before a fall.
Ooh, I like that.
You know.
That's not your saying, that is a saying?
Yeah. That is it. You've never heard that?
No.
Okay, maybe you're like Gen Alpha then. All right, you've gone from the two extremes today,
I've
my
gone
love.
from boomer to
Baby.
child.
Everyone sucks here. Ian's a dick, but it sounds like you're single for a reason other than your height.
I fully agree with.
I was going to say something along those lines, but did kind of feel like there wasn't enough information. But OP did not come across great in that post.
No.
Yeah. Sounds like you can't take a joke and decided to start a fight. Sounds like you take yourself way too seriously and think way too highly of yourself. Sounds like he's doing just fine, making a living, and has a girl. Sorry, my guy. You're the drama.
Do you know what?
We've had every badge on this one.
We have. It's clearly very decisive.
Yeah.
But I kind of agree with this. Not with the you're the drama thing, because I still think Ian was wrong to hurt someone who is supposedly being called a friend.
Yeah.
As in, they're calling OP a friend. But I agree with this. Like, especially with that first one. It sounds like maybe it was an environment where jokes were happening and you took it real.
Too far. Yes, I do also think it was a joke that was taken too far, and I think it's always okay to call out. If not everyone is laughing, it's not a joke anymore, it's just being mean.
There's one other thing that I wanted to say about this.
Oh no.
No, about like the whole taking it too far and stuff. The words just popped into my mind. OP said, I'm teetotal and I absolutely loathe alcohol. It's totally fine for you to say that you're teetotal, but by adding on this extra bit of saying, I absolutely loathe alcohol, whatever your reasons for being teetotal, following that up with, and they were getting incredibly drunk, makes me feel like you're judging your friends. I feel like
for sure.
What's happening here is OP definitely thinks way too highly of themselves and their choices and is putting other people down. And I think that maybe there are people like this, but those kinds of people are not compatible with my kind of people. Maybe you need to find a new friendship group. Maybe you're just not with the right group of people who value the same things that you value in life. Not to say that what you are valuing is wrong, but is different to the company that you are keeping.
And you're always going to clash and fall out.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm sure there are other people in the world who, I know there are other people in the world who really value finances.
Yeah.
And, you know, also hate people that are this kind of jokey with their friends. That's fine. You do you, boo. Find your tribe and leave Ian alone. Should we go fishing once more?
We should go fishing.
Oh, drama. Am I the drama for telling my husband that his mum deserves nothing if he were to die in an accident?
What?
Oh my god, what are with these
What?
titles today? Why are people being so mean?
This doesn't feel like a normal thing to say to somebody.
Ever.
Hold on, I'm trying to imagine. Wait, the only thing I can think of in the context is if they were writing a will and his mum's an utter bumhole.
Shall we see?
We need to see. Recently, my husband has been talking about taking out a life insurance policy. I am in favour of this as we have a baby and he is pursuing a career as a pilot. Oh.
I just find it funny, morbidly funny, that Opie's like, specifically the pilot thing is why this life insurance is important.
Yeah, I heard it's actually it's the safest form of travel to fly.
It's just so silly. But carry on.
Or depends on what type of pilot though. If it's for a small plane, they're a lot more dangerous.
Or like a military pilot, but I feel like
Yes.
that sort of thing wouldn't be mentioned, to be fair, but carry on.
This weekend, he walked into our bedroom and said that he had researched a policy he'd like to get for $3 million.
Whoa.
$3 million.
Spenny, bougie, rich, I see you.
He then says, I think I'll set it up so half for you and half for my mum.
Oh. Okay. This actually puts the title in a different perspective.
Right.
From the initial title, I was just like, I cannot see how you are not the drama.
Yeah.
But I'm intrigued.
No, that's why I said the thing about the will. Like,
Yeah.
I could see a situation where OP is not the drama, but I'm very intrigued. I am American. He is Cuban. His mother and the rest of his family currently live in Latin America. They do okay for themselves, but the standard of living is a bit different from the US, though not crazy.
Okay. But it is different.
It is different.
Like, I don't think it's very fair to say not crazy. It is substantially different.
I think, yeah, it potentially depends on specifically where they are and their socioeconomic status within the country they're in.
Absolutely. And this is coming, sorry, just to confirm, OP is American. So OP is white. Okay, yeah. I think you need to be careful sometimes as well when you say things like this, not being immersed in the culture. And maybe you have spent a lot of time there. I don't know. Let's read on.
She's not happy there and we've been trying to sponsor her to come to the US. I like his mum and we have supported her in many ways, such as paying for multiple trips to Cuba, paying to send suitcase/parcels with clothes, shoes to them, cash gifts when we visit, etc.
Just saying, you cannot say in the same breath, it's not crazily different, but you send suitcases and parcels of clothes and shoes and cash gifts.
Yeah.
This is not sitting right with me. I feel like you're being like white blind in a way that's upset me.
But also the fact that OP is so switched on to the fact that mother-in-law really wants to get out of Cuba.
Yeah.
And requires parcels to be sent. When he says this about splitting the life insurance policy, something in my gut felt weird. I think it showed on my face because he asked me and I said that it seemed odd to me. That it seemed like these kind of legal/financial things should be set up for our small family and that I would not just leave his family hanging if anything were to happen.
Okay, how do you feel about that? If I had said to you, hey, I'm going to take out a life insurance policy of whatever amount, right? And half is for you and half is for my mum and family. You'd be like totally fine with that.
Sure, of course. Because your mum is also your family as well as me. And also like thinking of like financial situations, they seem like they're financially okay because they can send cash gifts, they can send parcels, they can pay for trips. His mum can't do that. His mum desperately wants to come to the US and they are trying to sponsor her. They are clearly, by the sounds of it, in a better financial position than his mum is. $1.5 million is a lot of money.
Okay, you bring the $1.5 million into it, which I agree is a total amount of money. I do think like when it comes to this point where obviously you're talking about if the worst would happen, you don't want the worst to happen, right? Touch wood, doink doink. That husband is fine and living his best pilot life. But if the worst was to happen, then $1.5 million, there comes a point where that an amount of money will set you up just fine. You, one baby, you're gonna be okay, you know? But if we take that money amount out of it and just think about the principle of splitting a life insurance policy with family, how do you feel about that? If I'm being really honest, I don't think I would say no to it, but I do think it sounds odd. And I'm trying to sort of like dig within myself as to why it sounds odd.
I think it depends on the situation.
Yeah,
so
it's obviously context.
I feel like we're coming from different perspectives on it. So like if I were to want to do that, if something happened to me to split it between you and my family,
that would sound really odd to me.
That would sound more odd
especially
than you
because
wanting to.
In your family structure, your mum is not taken care of in that way. I know that, but you know, like this happens within couples because I'm sure in a traditional sense, your mum would also have a life insurance policy with their partner to cover them.
Yeah.
So why is it that if you pass away, and the whole point of life insurance, right, is that the life that we have set up together, me and you, that house is still looked after. The bills that we need to pay within our network and our house is being looked after.
Yeah.
But mum's got her own house sorted elsewhere, right? And so even if within this couple situation, you're sending money back, the life insurance policy that you give to me if you pass away means that I would then be able to continue those duties with mum. Do you see what I'm saying? I also wonder though if there's a bit of a like divide depending on like culture, and I don't know if this is just like the POC person making it about being POC. All I'm saying is like I do know within my family there's like definitely more of an onus and like an expectation to have the dependents be your parents as well. Do you see what I mean? In a way that I don't think white culture has as much, so I could see that also playing a part.
This just sounds like to me a son wanting to make sure his mum is looked after if anything happened to him, and maybe feeling like half would be enough for each party.
I hear you. And then wife is saying, but also look after me and I'll look after your family. You know I will. That's what we've been doing anyway, and that's how such policies are typically set up. I think it's an odd request to want to split the life insurance with more than your couple.
I don't know, because I think at the end of the day I'd be like, it's your life that would be lost. It's the money on your life, and if you're telling me that you want to split it, as long as I wouldn't be like, oh my god, you do realise that by splitting it I would not be able to look after the life we've built together and like our children, that would be the conversation.
But then you realise it's for $3 million and you're like, okay, you're all going to be fine.
I think
then
that changes the context.
For sure.
That if splitting would mean it would not be enough, but if it's still enough, that's your decision. That I don't know.
I see.
Okay, he was defensive, asking why I didn't want his mum to get anything. I wasn't saying that, but I didn't really have words to explain what I was feeling. I was clear that of course I would want his mum to receive funds if something so tragic happened, but it seemed like legally this policy should be set up for me and our kid plus future kids. Round and round we went.
I understand both points of view.
Yeah, I'm struggling a bit, I think.
I really appreciate though OP's candidness and being like, look, it didn't sit right with me and I can't tell you why. It just didn't. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you're wrong. I think sometimes we can like have conversations where we're like, just because something is traditionally done this way doesn't mean it's the only way to do something. But it can sometimes be a bit confronting to be like, oh. And I also don't think that we should forget that these are horrible conversations to have.
Yeah.
We've had a number of conversations about wills helping family members set things up, and some people are just not in a great state of mind and super aggy when this is being discussed because you don't want to think about dying.
Yeah.
Which is also understandable.
Okay, we've got OP's logic. My logic, say he passes away in an accident in 20 years, we have 3 kids, his mum is still alive and pushing 80, 1.5 million is excessive for someone of her age and lifestyle. For this example, it gets split evenly between the 3 kids. A lot of money, but obviously you can't do as much with 500k as you can with 1.5 million. I think it's logical to say that cost of life and living for an elderly woman versus for a young family of 4 is very different, and that different quantities of money should be allocated because of this. Also, I want to be part of this decision. Him waltzing in and telling me what he's going to do doesn't fly with me, especially as we are equal earners in our home and share finances, so I'm paying for half of this policy.
That changes
That does
a
change
lot.
it, yeah.
That absolutely changes a lot. I didn't even think about this. I see where wife is coming from. Like 500 each, and you're not even considering the fact that you, wife, also need to live.
Yeah.
Compared to 1.5 million for one person. I mean, 500k each is still a lot of money. Like a lot. But it won't be 500k each because wife still needs to pay for her bills.
Yes. And I feel like maybe the difference is the wife is seeing this from the perspective of 20 years time.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the future. Maybe her husband is just seeing the now. And right now, that money would transform his mother's life, be plenty for his wife and child, and allow them both to live. And probably, if grandma has a lot of money, very likely would offer any kind of support to grandchild and family setup there.
Sounds to me like that's the problem. There's trust issues. You're saying, you know, like, of course, I would trust. Like, it would just be a given that as a grandma, I'd help my kids out if I had significantly more money, right? At the same time, wife is going, but of course I'd look after your mum.
Yeah.
Like, just give me everything as we would anyway, and I will make sure that she's incredibly well looked after.
But her husband doesn't seem to trust that.
Maybe there's a reason for it. I don't know.
His logic, I should think of it as 2 separate policies. 1.5 for his family, 1.5 for me and our kids. Are you and the kids not his family? That's a bit of a bizarre wording.
Yeah.
That our kids will get 500k, which is a lot of money. That 500k is better than nothing, and isn't it good enough that he's thinking of us and setting us up for a good life? He continuously accuses me of not wanting his mum to get any money. He also called me selfish, implying that I just wanted more money for myself. He says, of course, his mum would share this money with the rest of the family, dad, sister, and nephews.
That's weird to me. I'm sorry, the more that you read on, the more I'm kind of on wife's side. Like, honestly, I think this is coming from a place
It is culture.
of culture. I reckon that's where this difference is coming from.
Protecting the parents, like making them set up.
I don't think it's just protecting, it's an obligation
Son's
to give
responsibility.
to the family. Like, it's a thing that I see a lot in South Asian cultures that are not born in Western countries.
Yeah.
Even people like making a living here and sending a lot of that money back home.
Yeah.
Because that is,
It
it
does
goes a
happen a
lot
lot,
further there than it does here. So I wonder if it's a cultural thing, which is why I'm trying to be really sensitive to it.
It could also be that his family in Cuba are really not in a good financial position, and
Absolutely.
he worries for them if he's not around.
And if that's the case, I think you need to share it with wife. But
Yeah.
also, I totally agree with what wife says. Wife is also paying for half the contributions towards this. You need to make that decision together.
Yeah.
Why does it need to be 50-50?
Why not do like a joint policy? Can't you do joint policies where if one or other dies, stuff happens to the money?
Yeah.
So surely if they're both paying, would that make it a joint policy? Or is she just saying that she pays for half the policy, but it is just his?
It's his policy for if he
Right.
passes away, but they share their bills equally. That's what's being said.
I mean, she's paying into it because the whole point of a life insurance policy is the insurance company is playing roulette with if enough people pay in money that the ones they do have to pay out, they still profit on. Mm-hmm. So like you're both paying.
Let's not talk too much about that because that's a really morbid thought in
Yeah,
itself.
no.
Oh.
I'm so confused by this one.
I feel like OP has been confronted with a decision when what they wanted was a conversation.
Yes.
And then I'm thinking, look, if you want this much, and clearly you guys are spenny, rich, because a $3 million
That is a
insurance
lot,
policy is
yeah.
a lot.
You can't just get that unless you've got money, right?
You need to pay for it,
Yeah.
right? Like, that's going to cost a lot of money on a monthly basis. Why not make it less? Why not change the proportions? There's so many ways in which you can compromise. Why not say, look, I'm feeling hurt that this wasn't a conversation. Can we talk about it first instead of you delivering me something when I'm also paying jointly into this?
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, why do we need to be 50-50? I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, but why not 2 million, 1 million, or 2.5, 500k?
Or, like, even just halving the policy to, like, 1.5. Because, let's be real, that's still going to be a lot of money if this was to ever happen. And you could write a separate legal contract that allows you or obligates you as wife to make sure that you absolutely provide for wife and family.
Do you know what this feels like again at the core of it? And we've read a few of these now on the podcast. A man listening to his mother over his wife.
Do you think mum knows about this policy?
I don't know. But like just reading between the lines and how almost acidic the husband got in his logic, like telling her
She's
she's
like,
selfish and you just want more money,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. That feels very much like a defensive response and he's not telling the full truth of the situation.
Though also we have to keep in mind that we are seeing this from wife's point of view, and
Yeah.
the truth probably lies somewhere in the middle. Not to say that we're not to trust one person, but our perspectives on things can be very different. So that's why we always say there are three sides to every story, yours, theirs, and the truth. Not to say that anyone's lying, but we always see things from our perspective. So it may be that this is what's hurting OP a lot. So hearing that this is what OP took from his part of the conversation.
I also think OP has done themselves a dirty on that title because at no point did she say his mum deserves nothing. That changes the context because at multiple points she said I would support his mother still even if he passed away.
Yeah.
I think I have a badge because I think at the end of the day what OP has done here is be like, I just want to understand your reasonings and I want to have a conversation about this. You know, let's sit down, work out the finances. What if this actually happened, which is a horrible thing to think about, but because you want to split it, we're needing to think about this.
Exactly. And if you want this money to go not just to your mum, but also to help your dad and your sister and your nephews, talk to me about this. Let me know and I will make sure this gets done. Like, let's make sure for your benefit that this is being done. I think I have a badge too.
I have a badge.
I don't think it's going to be the same as yours. You go first.
Not the drama.
I'm going to go no drama here.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think the husband is the drama either. I think they need to have communication is key, always.
I didn't even think of that as an option.
Oh, well, now you know it's an option.
But the thing is, I think that is kind of drama here.
I don't hate your badge, but remember that we're saying drama as a synonym for arseholes. Obviously, it's a dramatic situation, but I don't think husband or wife personally is being an arsehole.
Do you know what it is? It's they're paying jointly for this policy. I think he is being an arsehole by just walking into the room and going, this is what's happening with it. That's what I'm calling out, that there needed to at least be a discussion, even if the conclusion was the same.
Do you know what? I wholeheartedly agree with you. And
You're keeping the same badge.
I'm keeping keeping the same badge because I think in the same vein, I don't think he has looked at this from outside his point of view. And I think it comes down to culture to me. Because I think he's saying, look, it's a given that this would happen because this is what I need to do. And I feel like OP is not being sensitive to that nuance.
Okay.
Which is why I just think if you guys communicated to actually see each other's point of view, this could be resolved in a non-messy way.
Yeah.
But I also agree with your badge.
I'm going to stick with my badge,
That's
but
fine.
I respect yours and I also kind of agree with it.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling
That's okay.
very confused about this. This is the kind of one where I want to sit down with both of them and have a conversation and be like, okay, what's the real tea?
Sit down, get comfy, let's get involved.
Yeah.
I hear you. We want to Jeremy Kyle this shit.
Let's see what other people said.
I am so intrigued.
Me too.
Not the drama. Typically, a life insurance policy is intended to cover the losses associated with someone's death, which includes cost of burial, also the loss of income of that person dying. Your first step should be to calculate the financial impact of the husband dying. How much money would he earn over the remainder of his career? How would that loss of income impact your ability to pay your mortgage or your kids' ability to go to college?
Right.
And that should be how you think about life insurance for your family. I mean, yes, but I feel like whoever this commenter is being really blind to the fact that husband is considering dependents not just to be the kids and going to college, but also mum and family.
Yes, and they financially help mum and family.
Exactly. So of course that needs to be considered too.
So under this person's logic, they've missed a really crucial step of how much they help his mum.
And I wonder if this is also a cultural thing. It's not unreasonable to consider that your husband won't be able to contribute as much to his family, but he's treating this more like buying lottery tickets for her every month, and it's reasonable to not want to put that in the family budget. The one thing that I kind of agree with this is that you are right, it's the cost and association of that person. And I do think that there's a way in which this can be done where the wife can still provide for his family as he wants.
Yeah,
it just doesn't need to go directly to mum. It can go through wife.
Yes, I totally agree with that. I also agree with this commenter though, saying that the little bit about your first step should be to calculate financial impact. So like, why not say, okay dear, you want to half this policy.
If someone called me dear in that scenario, it would really rub me up the wrong way. I'm just saying, but okay.
Okay.
Bum fluff.
Butthole. You want to split this policy,
yes.
Then take the time, sit down with me right now, and we're going to calculate if half the policy is an adequate amount to cover looking after your child, sending them to college, and paying your part of the mortgage. And if it is, then cool, let's split it. If
it's within our financial means to do this.
Yeah.
And we both agree with it because we are both financially contributing towards it.
Yeah. I would try and not take an emotional standpoint on this. It would be very logical. It would be like, okay, if we split your life insurance policy, if that's enough to cover what it needs to cover for me in this household, then fine, you can give the other half away. But I would be discussing like, why are we both paying for the policy though? It's your policy. What if I wanted to take one out? And then we could split it both half and then it balances out anyway.
Yeah, just get a co-policy.
Yeah.
Well, you both agree. Yeah, but you're right, it needs to be more of a joint decision.
Yeah.
Not the drama. And it's absurd that he called you selfish. I do agree with this. Imagine, God forbid, that he passed away not 20 years from now, but when your kids are still young, you would be alone raising the kids. If you got sick or one of the kids got sick, you could end up not being able to work for an unknown amount of time. Even without that, kids are expensive to raise. Childcare is expensive. You'd be paying for a house purchase with the assumption of 2 incomes. Do the 2 of you plan to help your kids when they're college, trade school, just starting out in life thing happens? Do you plan to give them something for a wedding or a first home? Would you want to be able to secure that in case he's not able to be there? This should absolutely be a conversation between the 2 of you.
Yeah, this was like the biggest point. It's like, make sure...
this is a reason you gave the not the drama badge.
Make sure that whatever's happening is a mutually agreed upon decision and has been done with the forethought of financial position of people going forward.
Yeah.
Because I would never dream of splitting a policy. Say my parents really needed some financial help, which it sounds like his parents do.
Yes, absolutely.
Say that I was in that position as well. If I had a life insurance policy and we had a child together, before even discussing splitting, I'd make sure that whatever would be left to you and our child would be enough. And if it wasn't enough, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to leave it to you, but please help my parents in any way you can.
I wouldn't even be like a please. Like, if I had even an inkling of distrust that you wouldn't, like I'd want that down in boundaries. Like, you need to make sure that my mum still has a house, that she's receiving food, that she has enough clothes to sort out the family every single month. Like, be specific. But yes, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they just need to talk.
They need to
and
talk.
actually work out some figures. Not the drama.
If you are paying half of the policy, you should have more of a say on how it's spent. I also think it's weird that he's treating it like an even split when it's not in any way equal.
I'm hearing all of this. I'm hearing but it just, something doesn't have to be normal or traditional emotional for it to be okay. It just requires a conversation to make sure that everybody's on board. And it is very weird that he thinks that he can make a final decision on a policy that they are both paying for.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
I'm not going to give a verdict here.
Oh, interesting. As a Latin American from the sister island, you guys have cultural differences that you need to talk out. You see, usually it's the norm for children to take care of their parents, and it's also quite normal for the more successful child to help their siblings. I do think that a cultural thing is being like totally forgotten about here from OP.
Is likely just as automatic to the husband that he would leave life insurance money to his parental family as he would to his nuclear family.
And maybe knowing that OP has been quite insensitive about this has
hurt,
or has led to his decision of being like, look, I would feel more comfortable if we just do it. Maybe OP has complained when money is being sent back. We don't know a pilot side of the story, you know, but talking through it is a way forward. And ultimately, whether the whole insurance policy goes to OP with you both being in agreement of how you look after his side of the family, or if it's split, the same result will happen. I don't think it's about like how the insurance policy is sorted out. It's about both of you feeling secure that the right things are going, that you both agree with to the other family members. Right? 3 million though, dude. Wow.
That's a lot.
I wonder how much something like that would cost on a monthly basis. Oof. I was wondering, says someone else, if this was cultural as well. I had an ex who was Indian, and taking care of his parents when they got older was high on the list of priorities. I appreciate these cultural insights.
Oh, you're the drama.
Oh.
You married into a family that not only has different cultural and financial expectations, but also comes from a poorer nation. Not that much different in the standard of living. Yeah, okay, try spending a year or two there.
That did really rub me up the wrong way from OP.
It is normal for someone like your husband to be responsible for his parents and possibly even other family. Mum helps take care of elderly family. She likely sacrificed a lot to raise her children. She did not plan for the typical USA type of retirement. Of course, your husband wants to make sure that his whole family is taken care of in the event of his untimely passing. If you feel you personally need more, then why not buy more insurance? I still think conversation. My whole thing with this one, yes, there are clear cultural differences going on. And both people are clashing heads. I can see why OP's been rubbed up the wrong way. I can see why husband is feeling like, whoa, no, this is how it works.
I totally agree
but
with
they're
you.
just not talking properly.
I also think that whilst I agree with a lot of what's being said here, and I really appreciate that insight, that, you know, like, it's giving you an insight as to why alternate systems, financial structures of countries have this responsibility. It's because there is a lot more sacrifice, and that retirement looks incredibly different when you don't have this sort of like Western style of living. At the same time, it's the principle. It's not the amount. I don't like this idea of like, oh, why not buy more insurance? Because that is not what OP has a problem with. It's the principle of the matter that it wasn't jointly discussed. And that they're not understanding why OP is wanting to give so much to the other side. Like, not so much in terms of money.
OP's husband.
But the split, is going to
I also think like OP is definitely being like a bit culture blind and like
blinkered.
But the husband is also clearly not taking account of the fact that they are from different cultures and why that would come as a shock to his
communicate
partner.
Maybe they don't realize that from each other. I don't think it's coming from like a sense of maliciousness. I think they both just don't get it. Just talk.
Oh, OP's given a response.
Ooh.
Thanks for your comment. I appreciate the you are the drama verdicts and logic as I'm trying to understand better where he's coming from. Life in Cuba is much different than here in the US. I'm very aware.
Okay, I'm grateful you said that because in your original post you didn't say that at all.
I would not think to compare the two. His family has left Cuba.
But you did. I'm sorry, OP. No, you need to take accountability for that. You did compare the two. Not only did you compare the two, you said it was different, but not crazy different.
Financially,
So, like, take accountability for why you said what you said. It's okay to have not known. It's okay to have grown.
His family has left Cuba and lives in Latin America now. His father and sister own government-subsidized businesses and do pretty well. I would say middle class. His mum lives with his sister. She works part-time and also helps with the kids. I'm totally okay with allocating some funds for her and his other family in our policy. I just feel like 50-50 split isn't logical here, and I'd appreciate the trust that I would care for his family if something were to happen to him.
That is it.
Your comment and others are helping me also focus in more on the cultural differences here. Thank you.
OP sounds like a lovely person. Yeah, honestly, it sounds like they're really open to it, and how using the forum and exactly what it's meant for, right? Like, hey, help me understand a different point of view. I love that.
To me, it honestly sounds like the biggest thing OP wanted was trust and communication, and that's what they feel like they're missing from their husband.
Yes, that. And also I feel OP's feeling really hurt at the fact that husband is like, oh, like, I don't trust that you would do it. That's the problem. Gosh darn.
I stick by my badge.
I stick by mine too. But I really appreciate everything that this discussion has brought about, and I feel like I've learnt a lot.
Yes.
Yay! Alright, are you ready to do one more fishing? Drama!
Yes,
This is from a Peach, who has given us a submission themselves. Just a reminder that if you too would like some help with a drama post, you can take a look at our website and submit one yourself.
You absolutely can. So Silent Sally says, am I the drama for staying silent about my brother-in-law's behaviour? Oh, very...
cryptic.
Yeah.
Aw.
Take it away.
Silent Sally says, I'm a 28-year-old woman and I've been in a committed relationship with my partner, 29-year-old man, for 6 years. At Christmas, my partner's brother, a 36-year-old man, and his girlfriend of 6 months, who's a 40-year-old woman, announced their engagement and their plans for a destination wedding this spring. Congratulations to your brother, or brother-in-law. For context, brother-in-law struggles with empathy, honesty, and ethical monogamy. But his strategic charm makes it very difficult for new romantic partners to spot these red flags.
Oh no, and a girlfriend of 6 months, okay.
And they're going to get married.
Yeah,
Oh,
very
no.
quickly.
Oh no.
Okay.
In the past, my partner and I have tried incredibly hard to be supportive of brother-in-law. We've had several long conversations with him, genuinely tried to hear him out and add different perspectives to help him in his relationships.
Right.
Nevertheless, he continues to manipulate and cheat on his girlfriends, belittle us, and more recently, isolate all of us from each other.
Oh, I wouldn't be giving time to this person anymore.
Yeah. And you know what else is really tricky? The context of age. Because at the age of 40, which is what new girlfriend is,
Yeah.
it's quite typical for things to go faster.
Yeah.
You've got life experience. There are often other reasons that have led you to be in a position where you are not in a committed relationship if you are monogamous.
Yeah.
And I think this is so horrible to be taking advantage of somebody, particularly at that older age.
Yeah.
Every time I do get the chance to interact with one of his girlfriends, I feel like I have to choose between acting in her best interest, i.e. calling out my brother-in-law's lies and inconsistencies as I hear them, or acting in the interest of the family unit, i.e. keeping silent.
Oh, this whole like acting in the interest of the family unit, not from OP, but as a concept, just gives me the ick so bad.
Actually sent a shiver down my spine.
I hate it so much because I went off on a video I made recently because I was just like, I do not care if we are legally related, blood related, whatever this relation between us. Blind loyalty is bullshit and I will not adhere to it. And if it causes a rift within the wider family, that's worth it because I am not sticking by somebody who is an asshole.
Do you know what I see this family loyalty to be? I see it as the opposite of love, which is why I've never ever understood why people do it. Love is being there for someone, and being there for someone means helping them be the best person they can be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Love means helping someone be the best person they can be. And if you are being silent to just not ripple the waters, you are acting so selfishly because you are not helping that person grow. You are not allowing this person that you supposedly love to be the best version of themselves. What would be helping them is if you confront their bullshit and help them grow as a person, which might not be a lovely conversation to have, but if your loved ones don't do that, who else will?
Yeah.
Don't give me this bullshit that keeping silent is family loyalty, because that's not being loyal to that person at all. That's pushing them down.
Yeah.
That's limiting and stifling their ability to be the best potential soul that they can be. And that really pisses me off.
And also is forcing you and others in the family to continue trying to have a fake positive relationship with this person
When you're
that
not being
people
honest.
probably don't like very much by the sounds of his behaviours. If nobody's going to
so
call him
right.
out, he's not going to grow. So then you have to deal with his bullshit forever.
And you don't
if you
like
call
it.
him out and he doesn't grow, then bye.
And you're holding a resentment and holding on to this fake idea of what a family should be, when really what you're wanting is something that you're not having because you're trying to keep this false pretense up.
Yeah, this is not anger towards
Silent
OP.
Sally.
This is like an anger towards that family setup.
Absolutely.
And probably more the parents of this brother-in-law.
Also, I love when we have identifiers that are like cute and whimsical like that, like Silent Sally. I love the name, but hearing this context, I feel so bad for Silent Sally, and the term Silent Sally has taken on a very different meaning.
Yeah.
It's very powerful. Ooh. All right, Silent Sally continues. This has become even more complicated as my mother-in-law's dying wish to my partner was to keep the family together. And it's always it's this generational trauma.
That's
that
too
like
heavy.
these families are held together by this really thin thread that has so much tension on it.
It's not worth it.
And it's not going to last, babe. It's not going to last. The truth comes out. Knowing the extreme pressure that my partner feels to stay on good terms with his brother, and that the girlfriends are typically only around for a few months or a max of 2 years, I've usually opted to stay silent. Sally's in such a difficult position. However, we're no longer talking about short-term girlfriend. We're talking about fiancé and her teenage daughter. And both of them went through an extremely traumatic life event last year.
No.
Brother-in-law continues to silo everyone. My partner and I have only met fiancé twice, and the wedding is fast approaching. Am I the drama for continuing to stay silent about brother-in-law's toxic behaviour?
I have a very quick badge on this one, personally. Can I say it?
I don't want to say it because I think I have the same badge, and don't want... I realise how difficult a position Sally's
I have
in.
a really quick, and it's instantly, you
You
not
are
the
the
drama.
drama.
No, not the drama. His family is. Because...
Wait a second.
No.
Oh my god, the shock that I am feeling right now that we have different badges.
I don't think OP is the drama. I think speak to partner about it.
But that is also not staying silent. Okay, here's my conviction. You are the drama. And I feel horrible. This is like one of the worst times that I feel giving this badge. You don't deserve to be the drama, but you are the drama. Because you are asking, I'm staying silent. You shouldn't stay silent. You should be making noise. And you should certainly be making noise towards your partner and saying, I reject this family profile. You see the problems, right? And my issue is, this is only what you see. If this is how brother-in-law is acting to you, imagine how horrible he is to the partners that you don't see as the in-law, number one. Number two, this isn't his family. This is your family, because you are in this. You are in-laws, right? You've said committed relationship. To be fair, you've not said whether you are married.
It doesn't sound like they are, because I think it would say they're married if they
But
were.
we're saying like mother-in-law, in-law. You are an integral part of this relationship. At 6 years, you are part of this furniture and you know of these issues. I agree that you should not be doing this alone. This should be coming from your partner, but to stay silent, knowing inevitably how hurt this person's going to become by legally tying knots, I couldn't live with that. I would need to say something. And if it's not coming from you as somebody who has joined the family or somebody within the family, who else is going to do it?
I completely hear you, and I don't disagree with what you're saying.
And I hate it. I'm so sorry, Sally, that this has fallen on you.
I think what I'm feeling, when I read like continuing to stay silent about my brother-in-law's toxic behaviour, I took that as it's probably a very well discussed thing between OP and her partner.
Yeah. And OP's partner is only feeling the guilt because of this dying wish of somebody.
It's difficult because you are not afraid to open a can of worms. And
it's not that you're not afraid. I am afraid.
No, okay.
And I hate it. And I'm so sorry, Sally, that this is put on you. I hate the fact that this has gone to you. I would not be able to stay silent with you.
Oh yeah, but I was taking the staying silent as Sally going herself away from the family and telling
whether you do it that way, which I think is even harder for you,
fiancé,
or whether you do it together. Because what I would be saying is, Jamie, we can't stay silent about this, and you know it. No, imagine if this were me. Imagine if it was me to you.
And I would be saying it to you as well.
Then we, together, because we've been in a relationship for 6 years, and this is the values that we need, we would need to make that stance together.
We would, and that's what I think OP should be pushing for. I don't think I'd be able to do it on my own. If OP's partner is saying, no, we can't do this, we can't do it, don't do it.
But being really honest, if I was Sally in this situation, I don't think I could be entirely happy being in a relationship with someone who knows this is happening and who is enabling this behaviour and enabling this abuse to be going on without you saying something. I couldn't let that go. I know you couldn't. Do you know what I mean? But it's the right thing to do.
I think we're all from our life paths, and the thing is, I know that you would back me up if we were in this position.
And same.
Yes, and you know I would back you up. And I know that we would go together to the respective parties to have this discussion. I know that. However, would I risk our relationship if you were not wanting to go against your mother's dying wish?
But that's not what's being said here, right?
Reading between the lines, that's why I gave my badge, because I'm seeing Sally's silence as her partner knows, they've probably discussed it, but he will not take that any further because he does not want to go against the mother's dying wish of keeping the family together.
Then Sally?
The mother is the ultimate drama. Well, the brother-in-law is, then the mother, and then the partner, and then Sally.
Yes, a million percent that hierarchy. But Sally, that's not your only option. You're making it sound like the only ultimatum thing to do here is to stay silent or to actively go and tell this partner. I disagree. I refuse that. I refuse that those are your only options. You could absolutely go to your partner and say, hey, this is wrong. And you know
I kind of
wrong.
fully see that as something that already has happened.
And we are in the family and we need to stand by this together. And two, then together, we would not go to the bride-to-be. We would go to the brother and we would say, you need to get your act together because this is absolutely disgusting behaviour. Look at this position that this person is in. You do not get to treat people this way. You fix it, and if you are not upfront and build this relationship on trust and communication, then we will need to tell them.
And that puts the partner in the position of breaking his mum's dying wish.
And it's the right thing to do.
It is.
The mum's dying wish is a
keep the family
horrible
together.
Position to put your family in.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fine to want that. It's disgusting to want it on a false false pretense.
Yeah.
That mother's dying wish has been made with the mother not seeing the hurt that her son is causing to other people. I think we can't...
it's just a mess.
We can't be there and be
hate
like, oh, the
this.
mother would want to do this. The mum's not there to say what would happen. The mum can't see what is being acted on right now. It might be that if mum were here, she would want this wish to be continued. It might be that if mum was here, she would be disappointed that you're not doing something and in a different way bringing disgrace to this family. Do you know what I mean? This is so heavy. This is so horrible. I'm so sorry, Sally, that you're in this position.
I maintain my not the drama badge because you've been dragged into drama that was pre-existing, and I think it sucks and it shouldn't be your responsibility to be the one person who's got the moral compass to call this shit out.
I agree on all of those fronts.
However, I would do it.
I agree on all of those fronts that you should not be in the situation, but the reality is you are, and I therefore do maintain that you are the drama, but like the softest you are the drama possible, and with a big hug, because you don't deserve to be in the situation. Maybe it's an everybody sucks here, because your partner sucks way more than you suck,
Everybody
and brother-in-law sucks significantly more than you both suck. Just because I forgot how the badges work, everybody sucks here except for the bride-to-be. It's not her fault.
Yeah.
Because that absolutely, you are so right. Sally, you do not deserve to have this onus yourself.
I still want to say you're not the drama, but I would do like a soft everyone sucks here, but it's like, Sally, you are 0.5% of that. If that. Honestly, tiniest amount. I can't bring myself to label Sally anything.
I understand that my labelling of including you in the drama is because you are, I'm so sorry.
Being pulled into
it's
a drama
because you're pulled in
unfairly
something.
still makes you
exactly
part of
that.
it.
But also, you have the chance to say something, and I hope you do use your influence as somebody within this family, because you are within this family, to do the right thing and encourage others to also do the right thing, because it's not just your responsibility to do that. And I think it's very important that we make clear that, Sally, I don't think there's any expectation of you to go directly to this one bride-to-be and do that yourself. That would cause so many complications within your family rift as well. And being in a committed relationship with a partner, I would not respect that if you did that without telling me, and vice versa. It's definitely something that we would need to do together.
Yeah, I hear that.
But also, I'm just going to be really honest, we wouldn't be in a position where we would still have somebody like that in our lives.
No, I agree.
Regardless of whatever mother's dying wish was for your partner, Sally, you deserve to do what's right for you. Your partner deserves to do what's right for him. And you both deserve to have a life where your mental health and well-being is put first, beyond the wishes of someone who doesn't even understand, because they're not aware or here to understand what is being inflicted.
Yeah.
It's not fair. And I'm sure that's not what mum would want, knowing how horribly you are both feeling about this.
We don't know. She made a horrible wish that just put significantly unfair pressure on her kid.
It is unfair pressure, but it also can be said in the moment. It's also something that could be said before things got this bad with brother-in-law.
Yeah.
We just don't know.
I hear that. Oh, that was a tough one.
That was so heavy.
These have all been tough.
Oh
Shaaba,
my gosh.
all of them have been complicated and discussion-y.
A really heavy episode. I am so sorry.
I need a nap.
Oh, let's decompress. Sending so much love to you, Peaches. Thank you so much for listening.
Yes, thank you.
I so want to hear your thoughts and opinions. If you want to share them, just remember to be kind.
Yes, you can be honest, but be kind.
Yes.
If you're listening to this on a podcast platform, please do give this a little rating. You can rate the individual episodes as well as the overall show. We'd really appreciate it because it does help a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, it really does. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please consider giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing to see more. Thank you so much. Be kind.
Much love.
And have a great day.
Bye.